Hello, I'm Bruce Lorincz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose. I talk to people in city government, the school system, and many organizations, businesses around Wadsworth. DJ Schrock is with us today. DJ, thanks so much for joining us, the head basketball coach. How does that sound for Wadsworth High School?
Yeah, it sounds really nice. I'm very honored and a big privilege of mine to be able to be the head basketball coach here at Wadsworth High School.
Why don't you talk to us about your background in basketball?
Yeah, so obviously basketball is a big part of my family, and my dad was a basketball coach for over 35 years. My mom, she played basketball in high school and then in college, and she was an All-American basketball player in college. And then me growing up, always being at my dad's practices and being involved in playing in basketball. And I went to school here at Wadsworth and played on the high school team. We won a league championship and went 20-0 my senior year in 2003. And then after I graduated high school, I played college basketball at Muskingum University.
Home of the Muskies,
yep,
I'll
the
bet.
Fighting Muskies, yep. So had some great experiences down there, and then I used those experiences to really mold myself as a coach, and use a lot of those experiences as my coaching philosophy and how I coach. So.
Kind of unique situation that your whole family, it wasn't just your dad and mom, but your siblings were also very influential and good athletes all the way around down to the nth degree.
Yeah, for sure. So being from a family that is competitive just in general, and then being involved in athletics, it's it's a big part of our family, and I think athletics in general, doesn't matter which sport anyone plays, it really helps shape young kids into adults, and there's a lot to learn from athletics.
Can you point your finger on some changes in your playing days back in the early 2000s to today? What a couple of changes that you can see?
Yeah, for sure. I think, the game has changed just because the players have changed, and I think the athleticism that is in basketball now it's unbelievable. There were athletes when I played, but I think there's just more of them now. And, basketball's become more all year round, even more. Even when I played, it was all year round, but the amount of time that kids put into it is significant, and you're seeing that pay off. And I think overall, the amount of good players you see that more, and the athleticism is a lot of these kids go get training from personal trainers, and they're really involved in weight training and plyometrics and things like that. And so the athleticism is a big difference that I've noticed from when I played to today, for sure.
You were in Wayne County League at Chippewa for several years. A good foundation there to promote you to this job. What about the rivalries in Wayne County? Of course, I went to Northwestern, pretty big basketball school in Norway. Coach West and Coach Alberts I knew pretty well, and they really take pride, don't they, in all their sports?
Yeah, I was very fortunate that that's where I started my head coaching career in the Wayne County League. You have really, really good coaches. If you don't come prepared every night, you're going to get beat. And I think the best thing about the Wayne County League is that the physicality that the coaches emphasize, and the toughness. The teams that you play are, every night they're going to be physically tough, and they're going to give you all they got, and they're going to be prepared. And I was fortunate enough to experience that, and I'm lucky to be able to use that in my experience here, because it's really good basketball. It was fun. I enjoyed it. The smaller gyms were cool atmospheres in that league. So I'm going to use the things that I learned in that league to coach here, and the teams obviously are a little bit different, but I think there's a lot to take away that I've taken away from coaching there into here.
Your dad at Chippewa certainly had the girls program for years and years, as you indicated, and I looked it up, and I had to look twice. He had over 700 wins as a girls basketball coach. Was that correct?
Yeah, so he just got over 700 last season.
Unbelievable. So. How much can injuries and also grades impact your successful season? I know you're a social studies teacher, and it's probably good that you can check with other teachers on how the kids are doing or not doing in class.
Yeah, I actually had a discussion with the teacher this morning about one of our players, and obviously the academic part becomes first more so than anything else, and being able to check up every day on these kids is nice. I didn't have that privilege of teaching here and coaching elsewhere previously, but being in the same school is such a huge benefit. I can see my guys every day. I can see how they're doing in class. If there's a problem with a teacher might have with one of my guys, then I'm going to be on top of that, and that's nice to be able to do. So the academic part, if our players are not getting it done in the classroom, they're not going to be playing, and that comes first. And the kids know that they have to take care of their academics, and if they're not, then they're gonna have a hard time playing for us in our program. And
what if a student is disrespectful to a teacher? Would you allow that to happen?
No, that's
Okay.
definitely. I mean, the respect, we preach respect, and we have not had any problems with guys being disrespectful to us, and I emphasize to them that that's the same mentality they have to be with their teachers, the disrespect. And I don't think we have problems with that. We better not. But if we do, that will definitely be addressed.
It really helps to have a professional staff here with trainers. And if you do have injuries, I would think it'd be really difficult for a coach to say, it's been 2 weeks. Can't we move this along? But you have to be patient, don't you?
For sure. And from what I've heard, Todd Sable is our athletic trainer. I haven't done a lot with him yet, but he's seen a couple of our guys from some injuries in the preseason. And everything I've seen, he's awesome. And it's nice to have that here every day. And he's here every day. And the kids can see him, the guys can see him and get rehab if they're injured. And from what I've seen and what I've heard, he does a fantastic job. So we're blessed to have him with us for sure.
How can a booster club help with little things for a program?
Yeah, Booster Club, I mean, the amount of time that they put into it, and I know like Mary Lynn is our Booster Club president, and the time in the organization that she puts in to help raise funds for not just our team, but all the athletes, I respect it, and I appreciate that so much. I mean, the funds, obviously in any program, funding is always one of the big challenges that you have to do. And in today's economy, it's not easy. And, we appreciate the residents of Wadsworth, the community, and their support financially, because we like to be able to give our kids stuff. If it's a travel gear, if it's a travel bag, if it's a team slogan shirt, we like to be able to spend money to get our kids that stuff for them, because it's nice to have as a team, and the Booster Club helps make that happen. And I mean, I can't say enough how much we appreciate everything that they do for us.
Do you meet with parents prior to the season to go over some things and let them know what to expect?
Yeah, so we'll have a preseason meeting with all the parents and all the players at all the levels, and we have a handbook that we use, and our parent-player handbook outlines our expectations as players and as parents, because we have expectations for both, and we communicate that. I think we have a good channel set up for communication. We use like an app that can send out information, obviously an email. We share our dates on Google Calendars and stuff like that. So I think communication-wise, we're set pretty good, and just to address those expectations from the get-go. I think if we are honest from the start and set our expectations and kind of how we're going to deal with certain things, I think that's the best way to do it.
What does it mean, Coach, to be in charge of the entire program? I think sometimes, of course, you've had a little background with your years in Wayne County. You can't just put all your eggs in the varsity team, can you?
No. Yeah, so we made some changes to the youth heading into this year, with how we organize that, how we pick some teams and stuff like that. And then in the fall, we called them Sunday Youth Skills. So we did 4 Sundays in September into October, where we had the youth kids come in on Sunday nights, and we worked on skills and we let them play a little bit, and we did a lot with the youth. And to me, my opinion is at the foundation of our program is the involvement in the youth. And for this program to get to where I want it to get, where we're consistently competing for a Suburban League title and consistently making runs in the postseason, it has to start with the youth. We have to invest our time, our energy in making sure those kids are interested in basketball and they're getting the proper development and staying interested in basketball until they get to us in high school.
Sounds to me like a win-win situation.
Yeah, for sure.
You get to know them a little bit, and they get to associate you. Maybe they'll come to games. Hi, Coach, how you doing? And it's really a win-win situation, isn't it?
Yeah, I when we did those Sundays this past fall, it was my favorite day of the week. I mean, I absolutely loved spending time with those kids. I got to know a lot of their names, and I've seen them around at the football games and stuff, and I'll say hi, and they'll come up and say hi, Coach, and they appreciate that. And it was so, just like rewarding just to be around them. Like, it just felt good, and I really enjoyed that time.
Can you tell us about your coaching staff?
Yeah, so my varsity assistant is a guy that coaches me at Chippewa, and his name's John Hughes. He's a resident of Wadsworth. He has kids in the school district. He was with me the whole time at Chippewa, and a guy obviously I can really trust and knows the game a lot. Our JV coach is Chad Bever. This is his second year teaching at Wadsworth. He was the JV coach last year, but I have a previous relationship with Coach Bever. He was the head coach at Rittman when I first started at Chip.
Home of the Indians.
Yes, and he is a really good coach. I mean, he's fantastic and knows a lot and brings a lot, and we're really lucky to have him on staff. And then our freshman coach is Greg Wise. He's been our freshman coach here for quite some time. He does a great job with those kids. Matt Price is another local Wadsworth resident, and the cool thing is all these guys live in Wadsworth, which is nice, and they want to give back to this community. Matt Price is going to volunteer for us and help with the freshmen. And then 8th grade is Mike Smeltzer Jr. So obviously he has head coaching experience here, and he does a great job with that 8th grade, getting them ready for the high school. And then our 7th grade is Matt McConnell. Chad Wolf is also going to help with Mike, and then Matt's going to coach the 7th grade. So we're really lucky to have a good group of guys.
You're really fortunate to have people with experience, and not only middle school experience, but high school experience as well.
Yeah. Chad and Mike Smeltzer have head coaching experience, years of head coaching experience at the varsity level, and I mean that's great to have for sure.
Coach, I guess practice starts tomorrow, so we have timed this show very well. What can we expect from the Grizzly boys basketball team this year?
Yeah, so our team priorities this year, like what our culture is going to be, is we've talked about 3 things these past few weeks: toughness, physicality, and discipline. And we might not have the best athletes. We might not have the guys that can go up and dunk it, and things like that. But I think ways to make up for that is being tough, being physical, and being disciplined. And disciplined is, taking care of the ball, having good offensive possessions, being in proper defensive positioning, and communicating on how we're defending and things like that. And that needs to be the heart of our team, where when teams come into the Grizzly Den, they're walking out and saying, dang, that team was tough, that team was physical, and they were disciplined. And I think if we can establish that right now and continue to build off of that's as our foundation, I think we can have some success for sure.
You lost Solomon Callahan, who I think playing at Wright State University.
Yep.
So really a big loss for the Grizzly basketball program. But you probably have understudies, people that were still in the program that can score the ball.
Yeah. So obviously losing Solomon hurts. He's such a great kid, not just as a basketball player, but fantastic kid. But Max Bosley's coming back. Max is going to be a senior. Max he's like, I think 60 points away from scoring 1,000 points in his career. He can really score the ball. He's a good leader. He's physical. He finishes well at the basket. He shoots it well. Finn Schmidt, a really good baseball player, pitcher. I think he might have, since last year, I think he maybe grew 2 inches. I think he's about 6'7" at this point. And he's athletic for being as big as he is. He's athletic. He moves well. And he's really worked hard on his touch around the basket. So I think he's going to be a surprise in the league this year. And then Cal Carell, he's a senior. He's going to have a bigger role this year, but he works so hard in the off season in a lot of the facets of his game and getting stronger. Those are kind of like our 3 seniors that we're going to lean on. And then we're going to need some younger kids to step up, and kids that, those are the 3 guys that basically that we have back that have varsity basketball experience. And then the rest of the group is going to have to step up. And, we're going to depend a lot on younger kids and put them in positions to hopefully be successful and become good varsity basketball players.
Can you talk about the Suburban League? No easy touches in the league, is there? No time you can take off, like you said, in the Wayne County League, about the same thing.
Yeah, so obviously in the Suburban League, the returning champs is Brecksville, and they actually got from what I've heard, is a transfer from Lutheran West, who went to the state finals last year. About a 6'6" kid who's very, very athletic. And then they have one of the top point guards in the state of Ohio coming back, Luke Skaljak. He's a nice player. So they're going to be really good. After that, I think the league becomes really competitive. Stowe's going to be good again. I'm going back and watching film of teams last year, and I'm trying to figure out who's coming back, who's not, with not being as familiar with these teams. But every night you got to bring it, I'm blessed to have an experience where we had to do that. Like, you got to bring it every night. You're not going to be able to just roll the ball out and say, all right, guys, let's go get a win and get a win. You got to be prepared.
You touched on it before about playing at home, the Grizzly Den.
Yeah.
It's really a special place, and the crowd can make a difference. Sometimes people think, well, I'll go and it'll be a decent game, but I won't have much impact on the game. But that's not true. The crowd has an impact on the decision, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. We appreciate all the support that we can get, and when we're playing in the den, is what we want to call it, is that we have the support behind us. We have it loud, and it's a big gym. So I know it takes a lot to fill that bad boy, but I think if we can get some energy going and we can get the support going, we can get people out, and that's our goal, is to get as many people in that gym supporting the Grizzlies, cheering on our guys, and being there for us.
Yeah, no question about it. One thing, one aspect that we can touch on just a little bit about officials.
Yeah.
There's really a shortage. I've umpired for, just finished the kind of fall 53 years of umpiring baseball and softball, but we have a shortage of officials, especially young people getting in. Do you have any suggestions for people out there that maybe have played and their sons have graduated, and there's kind of a void?
Yeah, there really is, and we've seen a shortage with officials everywhere, and it's sad, and it really is. And I try to always treat officials with respect, and I think they appreciate that, and I think it's tough sometimes because their job is very unrewarding, because I think they feel like, and it might seem like everyone's out to get them. If something goes wrong, it's automatically the official's fault, which we try to tell our kids that's not, you don't worry about that. That's something you can't control. We control the controllables. But I think officiating and I know a couple people who do basketball, football, baseball, and it's a great way to extra income.
It is.
It really is. And I think if you love athletics and you love sports, it's a way for you to still be involved. And if you have kids that are not involved in athletics, or if you don't have kids, or if they've graduated, if they're no longer in athletics, it's a great way to still be involved in sports and be a part of the game, because just being a part of the game is exciting to me.
And you can pick and choose your days. You might go, 2 days a week or 4 days, or every day, and give me games each and every day of the week. So that's right. But when we have people retire, as you told us about fall, winter, and spring officials, then we basically lose three officials.
I know.
I mean, covering all those sports, and it's not easy. By the way, your dad, I have to note that he was a wonderful track and field coach.
Yeah.
I went up against him for years at Chippewa at the Smithville Relays. Your uncle, I think, was a coach.
Yeah, he was at Smithville.
Keith Schrock was at Smithville, and your dad, Smithville and Dawson, came out to the John B. Firestone Invitational first week of May, and it was we were against each other, but respect
for sure.
the other coaches.
Yeah,
and that goes a long way.
Absolutely, and when you're on the field of play and you're competing against another coach, you want to beat them, obviously, and that's just the competitive spirit. But afterwards, I've always had good relationships with coaches that I've coached against because I respect them. They're putting time, they're putting effort, they're putting energy into getting their team to be successful, and I'm doing the same thing. And when that ball goes up, I'm trying to beat that person we're going to try to beat that person as best as we can. And then as soon as that last horn sounds, hey, the respect is there. Good job. We no matter what the outcome is. So.
What is your first game coming up? When will that be still in the month of November?
So it's December 1st.
December 1, okay.
Yep, December 1st.
Can you tell us about what days the boys play? I think maybe Friday night is a regular game, and then you play also during the week, I think.
Yeah, so our first game's December 1st, home against Worcester.
Okay.
And then we normally play Tuesday, Friday.
Tuesday, Friday, okay.
So,
gives you that's kind of a busy week to you play someone, and then you only have a couple days to prepare. And especially you being kind of a new coach to the Wadsworth program, you're going to rely on your assistants and some other people to get information about your upcoming opponent.
Yeah, so we'll normally start, because we're Friday, Tuesday, we'll normally start scouting for our opponent on Tuesday, that Thursday. So we'll try to get ahead. So like when I do the scouting reports and watch film and stuff like that, I want to at least have 3 days to spend on a team of scouting, of watching tape, getting prepared, knowing the personnel, knowing their tendencies. And then so like we'll start scouting on Thursday and Thursday night before our Friday game. And sometimes it can be a little confusing, but I mean, that's just a part of the job. You got to get ready for it. And if you're not ready, it's going to show. So
sometimes the fans don't realize how much time and effort you and your assistants put into it.
Yeah.
And then again, how will your practice be set up? Will it be short and precise, or will it be 3 hours worth of drudgery?
Yeah, so it changes throughout the course of the year.
Certainly.
So right now, like tomorrow's a little bit different because the home football game, I want to get the guys in and out. So we'll be about 2 hours tomorrow, and probably about the first few weeks we'll be right around 2 hours. And then, as we start getting into the season, we start mixing that up. We'll do scouting reports, we'll do film review, so that will take up some of those 2 hours, and we'll do game prep. And so those practices will be on the court a little bit shorter, but still about the same amount of time that we're together prepping for who we're playing for. And, as a staff, we try to spend at least for each team, almost 8 hours of watching tape and getting prepared of each team. And then that includes watching our tape from the previous game and having our kids then be able to watch film and get prepared as well.
How many basketball players are currently playing football?
So I think we have 6.
Okay.
We have 6 guys. So, we're hoping that 1, they win on Friday, and then 2, they stay healthy for everyone, for sure. But we got 6 guys.
That's always kind of a difficult task for a winter coach, because they've had a grueling summer and practice before the season, and 10 games and 12 or 13, hopefully for the Grizzlies, and then you'd like them as quick as possible to come in, but you don't want to rush them that they may not be prepared.
Yeah, and I think it kind of depends on certain guys, how much they played in the football season.
Sure.
And we're willing to work with them and give them a few days to get their bodies healed up. As long as they're present, we're happy. And then it will take them a little bit physically to get up. And I played football and basketball, and it's a different type of conditioning. It took me a few probably about 2 weeks to get back into basketball shape, because it is a different type of, I'm not saying they're out of shape, it's just the shapes, what you need to do physically is a little bit different. So
do you work with the training staff? Do they supervise lifting weights or anything, just for flexibility and for strength? You know, you got to rebound.
Oh, for sure.
Namby-pambies can't be under the
that's
boards,
for
right?
sure. Yeah, you got to be physical. So we do have a weight training system, that program that we go through, and then we'll continue that. We'll go from 3 days to 2 days during the season. So we'll lift Wednesdays and Saturdays, so days after our games. We'll do some weights, and to keep that, our goal is for them not to lose what they got in the off season, and when in those 2 days, that's our hopefully to maintain.
So after the Worcester Generals on the 1st, do you get into league play right away, or do you have some non-league games,
Yeah,
Coach?
so we'll play Brunswick on that Tuesday the 4th.
That's a biggie, right?
Yeah,
We've already talked about them a bit.
At Brunswick, at
Brunswick? Okay.
So that's our second game, and then that Friday we'll open up league play.
Okay.
So
all right. So not much non-league play, but you can kind of get to know who is going to go ahead and do the right things for you, and do a fine job on the boards and rebound. And what about you get nervous when you try to push the ball and have some turnovers? Is that to me is a lost opportunity? Yeah.
So we try, when we're pushing in transition, our philosophy is try to create advantages. If we have an advantage in transition, if it's 3-on-2 or 4-on-3 or 2-on-1, we say attack. And if we have a turnover in those situations, then we need to work on that in practice. That's something we need to really work hard on in practice. And we do a lot of advantages, and we call them like decision making. If you're 2-on-1 or 3-on-2, what are you going to be doing here? And so we try to keep up with that in practice. But if we can create advantages, we attack. And if we don't have an advantage, then we'll pull back out and then work the ball and move it and try and get a good look.
Sounds like a good philosophy indeed. And DJ Schrock, I learned a great deal today about the Wadsworth program, and certainly the people in Wadsworth will look forward to a very successful Grizzly basketball season. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And thanks for viewing Bruce on the Loose. I'll be back next week with another show. And down the road, we're going to look at the new fire station on College Street. Thanks for viewing.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.